Ashok Gehlot government in Rajasthan in crisis as Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot claims the support of 30 MLAs. State Legislative Party meeting to begin shortly. Congress issues whip over the meeting over Pilot's probable absence. BJP says Congress's internal strife has come to the fore. Flood situation remains grim in many states. Rivers flowing above danger mark in Bihar. NDRF teams engage in relief and rescue operations in Assam. Met Department predicts heavy rainfall for the next 5 days in Northeast, West Bengal and many districts of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. State governments rely on lockdown to contain COVID-19 spread. Maharashtra government imposes lockdown in Mumbai, Pune and Pimpri-Chinchwad as active cases in the state reach 1 lakh. UP to impose mini lockdowns on weekends. Shillong imposes complete lockdown for the next 2 days. Meanwhile, schools to reopen in Andhra from today. India fights all out against COVID-19. Recovery rate climbs to 63%. Active cases in the country cross 3 lakh. More than 2.8 lakh samples tested in the past 24 hours. Recovery rate in Delhi climbs to 80%, while mortality rate in the capital goes down below 3%. Researchers of Shichinov University of Russia claim successful completion of clinical trials of the world's first COVID-19 vaccine on volunteers. Russian mission to India tweets that trials found vaccine safe. Meanwhile, confirmed global COVID-19 cases touch 1 crore 28 lakhs with 5 lakh 68,000 fatalities. Good morning and welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Starting first up with Rajasthan, where it's a desert storm. Rajasthan Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot on Sunday declared open rebellion, claiming that the Ashok Gehlot government is in minority now as over 30 Congress MLAs are supporting him. In a statement, the Congress chief also said he will not attend the Congress Legislative Party, that's the CLP meeting scheduled to be held in a little while from now. Pilot said, and I quote, Ashok Gehlot in minority after over 30 Congress and some independent MLAs have pledged support. The statement on his official WhatsApp group said. His statement surfaced just as ministers and Congress MLAs were gathering at Gehlot's official residence in the state capital for a meeting meant to express support to the chief minister amid the power tussle between the two leaders. Soon after Pilot's announcement, Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala said the party remained intact and the government will complete its 5-year term. Surjewala and AICC General Secretary Avinash Pandey were in Jaipur to attend Sunday's meeting at the CM's residence and the Legislative Party meeting on Monday as central observers. Ajay Makhan was also headed to Jaipur as the Congress tries to avoid the loss of another state after Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh. Party leaders were in a huddle at the Chief Minister's residence till late at night after Pilot's announcement. Gehlot and other leaders are said to be in touch with allies and independent MLAs supporting the government, hoping to ensure at Monday's meeting that the Congress government had the numbers to retain power. Pilot has been incommunicado for about 2 days. Pilot supporters said he was camping in Delhi and was upset over a notice sent to him by the Rajasthan police, who claimed to have stumbled upon a plot to topple the Congress government. The notice from the Special Operations Group had sought time from him to record a statement. Meanwhile, Rajasthan Congress has issued a whip and asked all its MLAs to be present at the 10:30 a.m. CLP meeting. BJP's Om Mathur said people of Rajasthan had given an opportunity to Congress to form the government in the state. They should have used it properly. CM should have kept his government intact, but he is not able to do so.
Congress अपने घर की लड़ाई को बीजेपी पे नहीं डाले। अशोक अपना सारा स्तर खो चुके हैं। उनके मुख्यमंत्री तो काल में जिस तरह से पार्टी को इंटैक्ट रखना चाहिए था वो नहीं रख पा रहे हैं। पार्टी के विधायक उनसे नाराज है।
Well, for more on that story, A.V. Singh, a correspondent tracking Congress for us, joining us this morning. A.V., good morning. A.V., looking at the present situation, 10:30 CLP meeting scheduled to start. What's the latest there from Jaipur? How many Congress MLAs are reaching the CM's residence for this particular meeting? Well, we'll try and touch base with our correspondent there, A.V. Singh, to get us the latest on that story that we are tracking, the top story of the day. Moving ahead, meanwhile, Income Tax Department is conducting searches at several locations in Rajasthan, Delhi and Maharashtra. Searches are going on in Jaipur, Kota, Delhi and Mumbai. IT department sources say that these searches are being done on a complaint of tax evasion. State Vice President Rajiv Arora has also been raided. As India battles COVID-19, recovery rate continues to improve steadily. Recovery rate as of today is about 63%. 3,01,609 active cases have been reported so far. 5,53,470 are the number of people cured or discharged from hospitals. The death toll stands at 23,174. The recovery rate now going over 63. The latest recovery rate as per the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, 63.01%. Well, now moving on to the states that have been worst affected. Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Delhi remain the worst affected states in the country from COVID-19. Maharashtra reported a massive surge of 7,827 COVID-19 cases on Sunday. With this, the total case tally breached the 2.5 lakh mark, while with 173 deaths reported in the last 24 hours, the death toll has been pushed to 10,289. The state's COVID death toll crossed the 10,000 mark on Sunday. Active cases in the state now stand at 1,03,516 cases. Moving down south in Tamil Nadu, 4,244 persons tested positive for COVID-19 on Sunday itself. Besides, 68 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the state's death toll to 1,966. Also, 3,617 persons were discharged on Sunday, taking the total number of recovered patients in the state to 89,532. The total number of cases in Tamil Nadu currently stand at 1,38,470. On to the national capital in Delhi. 1,573 new cases were reported on Sunday. Besides, 2,276 patients have recovered and 37 deaths were reported. Total number of cases in the national capital is now at 1,12,494. The good thing is that the recovery rate has improved drastically to nearly 80%. Well, for more on the top story that we are following from Rajasthan, we've got our correspondent A.V. Singh covering the Congress, joining us on the phone line. A.V., good morning. A.V., looking at the CLP meeting that was scheduled to start at 10:30 a.m., what's the status there at the CM's residence? What's the number? Is there a number that we can put together, the MLAs that have gathered for the CLP at the CM's residence?
देखिए अनिल, अभी विधायक इकट्ठा हो रहे हैं और तकरीबन जो रात में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में 109 विधायकों की बात कही गई थी, सुरजेवाला ने जो कॉन्फ्रेंस की थी और उन्होंने कहा था कि 109 विधायक का एक बार फिर से समर्थन पत्र मिल चुका है अशोक गहलोत को। उम्मीद की जा रही है कि 109 या उससे ज्यादा विधायक पहुंच सकते हैं। इस लिहाज से वर्तमान स्थिति में ये कहा जा सकता है कि अशोक गहलोत ने नंबर के लिहाज से फिलहाल अभी जो विधायक हैं उनको उनकी संख्या को मैनेज कर लिया है, लेकिन अभी हमें उस दावे को देखना होगा जिस दावे में सचिन पायलट ने कहा है कि उनको 30 विधायकों का समर्थन प्राप्त है।
बिल्कुल।
अब वो 30 विधायक क्या अभी जो इस मीटिंग में पहुंच रहे हैं उसमें से हैं या फिर वो बाद में सचिन के साथ आएंगे, ये अभी देखने वाली बात होगी और बहुत ही रोचक होगा। दूसरी तरफ कांग्रेस ने स्पष्ट तौर पर ये संकेत दिए हैं कि जो भी मीटिंग में नहीं पहुंचेगा उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी। उसमें सचिन पायलट भी शामिल हैं, क्योंकि वो विधायक भी हैं और निश्चित तौर पर उप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, अगर वो नहीं पहुंचते तो अनुशासनात्मक कार्रवाई की जा सकती है, ये हमारे कह रहे हैं। 10:30 के बाद जो स्थितियां हैं वो और भी क्लियर होंगी कि कितने विधायक पहुंचे हैं और कितने विधायक नहीं पहुंचे हैं।
Ajay, purely looking at, you put the number game into perspective, but, give us a sense of what's the Sachin pilot camp planning. It's a, old versus new battle that you see in Rajasthan that's brewing. Sachin claimed that he had the support of 30 MLAs. Ashok Gehlot, on the other hand, also has claimed that he's got the support of 109 MLAs. Purely when you look at the number game now, how does Sachin pilot operate from here on? What are the options before him purely in terms of, the way things stack up now?
अनिल, जो मेरी जानकारी है, जो दावा सचिन पायलट ने किया है, वो दावा जो व्यवहारिक तौर पर वो खरा उतरता हुआ नहीं दिख रहा है, लेकिन राजनीति में कुछ भी संभव है, इसलिए हमें थोड़ा इंतजार करना होगा। लेकिन ये बात जरूर है कि सचिन पायलट ने अपनी ताकत दिखाने की कोशिश की है, आला कमान को भी एक संदेश देने की कोशिश की है, लेकिन पार्टी के भीतर की जो राजनीति जिसकी आपने चर्चा की वो पूरी तरह से सतह पे आ चुकी है। जो यंग लीडरशिप है और जो पुराने नेता हैं उनके बीच में जो टकराव है एक बार फिर से राजस्थान में भी सामने आया है। लेकिन जिस तरह से शीर्ष नेतृत्व आला कमान ने सचिन पायलट से मुलाकात नहीं की, उससे ये भी संकेत साफ है कि पार्टी के भीतर अनुशासनहीनता को बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। जो अशोक गहलोत हैं, उन्होंने एक बहुत बड़ा दांव खेला है, जिसको लेकर सचिन पायलट नाराज थे। एसओजी ने जब उनको समन किया उस पर उन्होंने नाराजगी जताई, लेकिन एसओजी के पीछे की कहानी यह है कि एसओजी ने जो अपनी जांच की, जो फोन टैप्स किए थे, उन फोन टैप्स में कुछ ऐसे सबूत हासिल हुए हैं जिसको अशोक गहलोत ने, मेरी जो जानकारी है उसके हिसाब से, उन्होंने शीर्ष नेतृत्व के साथ शेयर किया है और शीर्ष नेतृत्व ने उसको गंभीरता से लिया है। हालांकि बीच का रास्ता निकालने के लिए अजय माकन और सुरजेवाला और अनुराग जो वहां के प्रभारी हैं उनको वहां भेजा गया है, वो लोग वहां पर बात कर रहे हैं। लेकिन ये बात जरूर है कि सचिन पायलट जो दावा कर रहे थे वो दावा फिलहाल अभी की स्थिति में लगता नहीं है कि 30 विधायक उनके पास कहां से आएंगे। लेकिन ये जो 109 का आंकड़ा है, हम ये भी देखना होगा अनिल कि ये 109 का आंकड़ा जो है ये निर्दलीय विधायकों के साथ है। 121 विधायकों का समर्थन इस सरकार को प्राप्त था। अगर 121 विधायकों का समर्थन प्राप्त था और 109 विधायक कल पहुंचे तो जरूर गड़बड़ तो कुछ ना कुछ है, लेकिन सरकार को अस्थिर करने या वो गिर जाने की स्थिति सचिन पायलट के समर्थक विधायकों में आ पाएगी या नहीं आ पाएगी, इस पे भी आशंका के बादल मंडरा रहे हैं।
Okay, also a quick word with regards to the CLP that's currently taking place. Rajya Sabha elections were recently held up in the state of Rajasthan too. You had KC Venugopal, who's also the General Secretary of the AICC that got selected from that particular state. Is there any indication that he would also be now reaching, Jaipur to attend this particular meeting?
जी बिल्कुल, अपने विशेष चार्टर विमान से वेणुगोपाल जयपुर पहुंच चुके हैं और वो भी स्थितियों को देखेंगे। इस बीच में एक बात ये भी स्पष्ट है कि अभी राज्यसभा के चुनाव के दौरान भी ये बात हुई थी कि कुछ विधायक कांग्रेस के टूट चुके हैं और कुछ जो है सरकार के खिलाफ जा सकते हैं। लेकिन राज्यसभा में जिस तरह से कांग्रेस की दोनों सीटें कांग्रेस ने निकाली, उसके बाद ये उस समय तक स्पष्ट हुआ कि अभी विधायकों में टूट की स्थिति नहीं है। लेकिन सचिन पायलट का ये नया जो दांव है, ये दांव लोगों को जरूर आश्चर्य में डाल रहा है। जो टॉप लीडरशिप है उसको भी अभी ये बात समझ में नहीं आ रही कि सचिन पायलट किस आधार पर ये बातें कह रहे हैं। लेकिन ये बात जरूर है कि सचिन पायलट भी एक मंत्री रह चुके हैं, पुराना उनका राजनीतिक अनुभव रहा है, राज्य की राजनीति को अच्छे से समझते हैं। वो अब क्या रास्ता बनाएंगे, क्या वो लीडरशिप के साथ, टॉप लीडरशिप के साथ एक बार फिर से बात करके अपनी स्थिति स्पष्ट करेंगे या फिर वो कोई अलग रास्ता बना सकते हैं, थर्ड फ्रंट बना सकते हैं, ये सब अभी कयास लगाए जा रहे हैं। अभी दोपहर 12 बजे के बाद इन सब चीजों पर स्पष्ट तौर पर कुछ कहा जा सके।
Okay, AB, purely looking at now the way things stand, it seems Sachin Pilot is not going to attend the CLP. But having said that, what's been the party stand for this kind of, this kind of revolt that you see? You've covered Congress long enough. What's the, repercussion to this particular revolt that Sachin Pilot has dared to do? And how do you see, what are the options before Sachin Pilot? If he doesn't go with the 30 MLAs that he claims he has to the BJP, what are the options that are there before Sachin Pilot?
सचिन पायलट के पास बहुत ही कम ऑप्शंस रह गए हैं अनिल। अगर वो अपनी जो संख्या है वो संख्या को नहीं ला पाते हैं, नहीं दिखा पाते हैं, और अगर सरकार को स्थिर नहीं कर पाते हैं तो उनके सामने संकट होगा। संकट इस वजह से ज्यादा माना जा रहा है क्योंकि उनके मीडिया एडवाइजर के जरिए ही ये बयान जरूर आया कि सरकार के पास बहुमत नहीं रह गया। तो ये बात तो स्पष्ट है कि वो सरकार के खिलाफ खुले तौर पर खड़े हैं। अब ऐसी स्थिति में उनकी वापसी, वो किस तरह से वापस करते हैं अपने शब्दों को, हालांकि उन्होंने एक चीज जरूर छोड़ रखा है कि उन्होंने खुद बयान नहीं दिया, उनके मीडिया एडवाइजर ने बयान जारी किया था। उस आधार पर कोई स्पेस वो बचा कर रख पा रहे हैं या नहीं रख पा रहे हैं। दूसरी बात की, एक तीसरे फ्रंट की बात अभी बहुत प्रीमेच्योर है, लेकिन अगर उनके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं बचता कि बीजेपी में भी वो तभी जाना चाहेंगे, बीजेपी जब वो अपने विधायकों के साथ अपनी कॉन्फिडेंस में रहेंगे कि उनके साथ विधायक हैं, तभी वो कोई इतना बड़ा स्टेप उठा पाएंगे। नहीं तो पार्टी के भीतर अनुशासनात्मक कार्रवाई होनी उनके लिए तय है। ये बात मैं अपने सूत्रों के लिहाज से पक्के तौर पर कह सकता हूं।
Okay, clearly we'll have to wait and watch how the Rajasthan Congress crisis is averted by the Grand Old Party. We'll get you more updates on that story. Thank you, A.B. Singh, for joining us with those updates there from Rajasthan. Well, moving on now to the flood situation in the northeast. The flood situation has worsened in the last 24 hours following incessant rainfall in many parts of Assam, with Brahmaputra and its tributaries flowing above the danger mark, affecting 24 out of the 33 districts. 2 more died in the last 24 hours and the death toll in the state has now increased to 44. According to Assam State Disaster Management Authority, over 12.9 lakh people are affected in 24 districts and 75 revenue circles across the state due to the deluge. Barpeta being the worst hit district with over 3,83,000 people being affected, followed by Dhemaji with over 1,30,000 and Golaghat with over 1,08,000 people affected. A total of 2,015 villages and localities are submerged underwater. The floodwater breached the river embankments and damaged bridges and roads in some districts. However, relief and rescue operations are on in a big way, with more than 2,300 people who were stuck having been evacuated by the NDRF and the SDRF personnel in the last 24 hours. The authorities have set up 224 relief camps and centers where more than 21,000 people are taking shelter. Reviewing the flood situation with the State Water Resource Minister Keshav Mahanta on Sunday evening, Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal asked all the MPs and MLAs to stand by the flood affected people and lend their hands in relief and rescue operations. From Assam to Bihar, in Bihar many rivers are in spate owing to the incessant rains in the catchment areas. After over 2 lakh cuses of water were released from Kosi barrage, water levels in several rivers in North Bihar crossed the danger mark following heavy to very heavy rainfall in Terai region of Nepal and districts along the foothills of the Himalayas in Bihar over the last 2 to 3 days. Due to this, alert has been sounded in Champaran district. A lot of exotic species occur in the wild that are native to some countries and not found anywhere else. What is rare for an animal to be the only one recorded at a particular place in the entire century. Tigers are an endangered species and India has been making efforts to preserve the species. What many might not know is that India is also the home of a golden tiger, that too the only one recorded in the entire world in this century. The majestic golden tiger is at the Kaziranga National Park in Assam. The golden tiger or golden tabby tiger is a rare morph of a Royal Bengal tiger. This occurrence is believed to have caused due to the recessive genes in individuals as a result of inbreeding with fragmented population caused by habitat destruction and loss of connectivity. Another wonder from India that has been sighted is a black tiger. Only while melanistic tiger documentation in the world from current times, they have broad black stripes. Nestled near the foothills of Indo-Nepal border in the Lakhimpur Kheri district, Dudhwa National Park is known to be a heaven for variety of flora and fauna. But this monsoon, this place has become buzzing with activity after a rare variety of orchid plant variety was found in the ecological paradise. Categorized as an endangered species, The discovery is even more significant as never in the history of Dudhwa or any other forest area in the state has this orchid been seen. It has been categorized as an endangered species under the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. The species was last sighted in Pilibhit in 1902 when England's Kew Herbarium documented about the orchid. Dudhwa Field Director Sanjay Pathak contacted environmentalists and botanists to identify the plant. The orchid was identified as one of the rare species termed as Eupholia obtusa. Well, from those wonders, moving down south to Kerala, the kindergarten children of AEM AUP school at Murkanad in Malappuram jumped up in excitement as they saw an astronaut pop up besides their teacher during an online class. Actually, the online classes at the school have become a virtual reality of thrill all of a sudden, thanks to the brilliance of an enterprising teacher. Shyam Vengalur, a social science teacher at the school, has introduced augmented reality to online classes. Using green screens, GIF images and several apps, the teacher succeeded in creating an augmented reality for the virtual class by superimposing graphics, audio and sensory enhancements. Many schools and teachers from across the state have begun to seek his help. A noble way to make teaching easier online. Well, let's now take a look at the global updates on COVID-19. The coronavirus pandemic has claimed the lives of 5,68,000 people worldwide, while over 1,28 lakh people have contracted the infection so far. United States of America and Brazil remain the worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. USA has so far recorded 33 lakhs and 2,000 infected cases, with over 1,35,000 deaths being reported, while Brazil has recorded 18 lakhs 64,000 infections and 72,100 deaths. Talking of death toll worldwide, after United States and Brazil, it is followed by United Kingdom that's got 44,904 fatalities, further followed by Italy, Mexico and France. Researchers of Shichinov University of Russia have successfully completed clinical trials of the world's first COVID-19 vaccine on volunteers. The Russian mission to India, in a tweet, quoted the chief researcher, Elena Somlyshunok, saying that Shichinov University has successfully completed tests on volunteers of the world's first vaccine against COVID-19. The vaccine is safe. The volunteers will be discharged on July 15th and July 20th. Following the discharge, the volunteers will remain under medical supervision on an outpatient basis. Shichinov University is reported to have started with the first stage of research on June 18th with a group of 18 volunteers. The second group of 20 volunteers was tested for the COVID-19 vaccine on June 23rd. There was, however, no further information on when this vaccine would enter commercial production stage. Amid hard times brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, a rewarding sight is putting a big smile on people's face in Portugal's capital city of Lisbon. Dolphins were seen happily splashing around the city shores. Over the last 2 months, social media channels have been exploding with videos and images of dolphins. People speculated that the reason that dolphins had returned was less water pollution. The pandemic has brought the cruise ship industry to a halt and less commuter ferries crossing the river. Well, time now to take a look at sports. Jeremy Blackwood profited from 3 drop catches to extend his excellent record against England and secure West Indies a 4-wicket win over England in the first test in Southampton on Sunday. Chasing 200 to win, West Indies lost 3 early wickets, but Blackwood shared a 73-run stand with Roston Chase to revive their hopes before skipper Jason Holder and John Campbell steadied the ship to guide the visitors home. Blackwood made a superb 95 as West Indies took a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series, with the second and third test to be played in Manchester without fans present in the stadium due to the COVID-19 pandemic. On to Formula 1, the second race of the season, Lewis Hamilton kick-started his World Championship defence by romping to victory at the Styrian Grand Prix. Hamilton celebrated the 85th victory of his Formula 1 career by performing a black power salute. Moments after a dominant performance to win the Grand Prix in Austria, Hamilton stood on top of his black Mercedes car, clenching his right fist in the air. Before the race, Lewis Hamilton took a knee for a second week in a row. On Sunday, he rode away from his starting mark and never looked back, taking the checkered flag 13.7 seconds clear of Bottas from Mercedes. Bottas completed a 1-2 for Mercedes when he overtook Real Bull's Max Verstappen with just 4 laps remaining, and it was the Finn who holds a 6-point lead over Hamilton in the championship ahead of next week's Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of True News. But remember, the difference between a good day and a bad day is your attitude. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.